Pat, we're just looking back in 2023.
Yeah.
We're now coming up to Christmas. So maybe from January on, the year just gone, how did you find the year?
Yeah, so I suppose January, it seems like a lifetime ago now, Bertie, but the start of the year was very positive, very busy. Obviously, people are coming off the back of a record milk price the previous year. There was strong demand for stock. This first 6 months of the year, we were very busy. Maybe bulling heifer, we'd say the calved heifers, there was good prices being given, good stock were available, they were moving freely. Late calvers, we'd say April into May calvers, they were moving away quite freely. Maybe we saw the turn starting to come around the bulling heifer trade. They were probably back maybe €100 to €150 from the previous year. So maybe that was the start of it.
What caused this turn, Pat?
I suppose the time, Bertie, there was talks of the derogation starting in nitrates and all that sort of talk, and just a bit of negativity starting to creep in. Milk price had dropped off then as well, so people were unsure what was coming down the tracks, you know. But it wasn't, the bulling heifer trade was still reasonably good. But it was just starting to creep in maybe at that time about what was coming in. As I said, milk price was dropping at that stage, so that was obviously having an impact.
Okay, so you had a mix of demand, your typical demand for that first 4 to 6 months that we would have had in previous years.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. It was similar to other years, yeah, definitely.
And I suppose it's fair to say then, come that August period on, what did you see in terms of, we saw probably a noticeable change then?
We did really, yeah. I suppose we'd send a lot of cows over to the UK for the autumn calving trade, and that, I suppose, buyers coming to the table earlier didn't happen. There was a lot of cows moved after calving, we'll say in your August, September, October period there, they moved freshly calved, whereas other years you'd have seen them going as in calf. Now we did sell some good numbers, we'll say, over there as in calf cows as well. But maybe the big change that we saw this year was we'd have always used the ploughing as a barometer, that we'll be busy at that time of year, end of September. That's when the scanning has been done. People are going through their numbers. They know what they have for next year. They know what they don't need for next year. And again, flip side, the buyer, I have X, I need to have this calving down. They'll start buying. This year, maybe there was a lot of indecision there, Bertie, I suppose. Look, it's well documented, all the reasons for the indecision. But we've seen it that maybe if you were to look at it in a graph, the peak has come maybe in the middle of November on through and to December, and even still talking to clients there again this morning in the last week of December now. We have guys looking to travel there during the Christmas break and into the start of January. So the graph moved on, but there still is good trade there for in-calf heifers, and demand is there at the moment, which is good. But it just moved on those 2 or 3 months, you know.
So probably buyers held off thinking prices were going to keep dropping.
Yeah.
And obviously there came a point then when maybe it stopped dropping, there was a floor on meat prices and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. And a small bit of positivity around milk price as well, Bertie, can't go and say it as well. I think that, it's giving a bit of confidence back in the market as well.
Yes. So what have you seen price-wise in the last 4 to 6 weeks? What prices are different groups trading at?
There's a range in it, and I suppose some people think that there is no trade or that there's no demand and there's poor prices being given. We're seeing it anywhere between 11 to 1,600 for in-calf heifers.
Yeah.
So, it's like there's one group we saw last week, for example, 20 in-calf heifers, top herd, 550 kilos milk solids, up at 4 and 5% on the solids. And the other buyer was very happy to get those 20 heifers,
Yeah, what kind of price?
They moved, there was 1550 on those ones.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they were good, very, very well-grown heifers. So there's obviously a big gap between prices given, but it all depends on the paperwork and the quality of the stock as well. And maybe a small bit in the need for the sale from the seller's point of view. Yeah. If the seller needs to get the stock moved, there's obviously paper reasons that they need to have stock off the farm.
And that's be it a tax bill from last year or maybe lack of housing and stuff like that.
Nitrates and nitrates and things as well, you see. So there's a lot of different things that can be happening on farm that'll make a difference in the price there.
Okay. Pat, herd sales then, how do they roll out?
Yeah, we sold, I'd say, the most amount of herds we've sold any year. And look, maybe something that we've thought ourselves is with the bumper year in milk price in last year, maybe not as many farmers got out. But look, there's a lot of red tape. A lot of farmers are seeing that, look, they're going to have to invest maybe $250,000 in the farm, maybe no successor. They're getting out maybe 4 or 5 years before they had planned on getting out. And we're seeing it on the other side then, from a buyer's point of view. If you can get a very good herd of cows, you're up and running straight away, Yeah. So they are more appealing maybe for buyers to buy a good herd of cows rather than buying heifers. Yeah. It is probably a better option.
Could you classify those buyers? Where are they buying?
So you have a few buyers come back comparing it to previous years, maybe you still have new entrants, but you have new entrants, but not at the scale of the previous years. So someone going into 200 and 300 cows probably isn't really happening, but the 100 cow herd is still happening, converting from beef to dairy, that's still happening, you know. Some second units, not as many as other years. And then you have TB, I suppose, unfortunately there has been cases of TB where there has been herds hit badly on that. So they're looking to replace the stock in as well. So they're the three main buyers we have. Obviously the UK then as well, similar again, but maybe more second units being set up in the UK compared to Ireland, I would say, as a rule. But again, you have TB and different things as well over there.
And the second unit for an Irish guy is typically where there's an operational dairy farm, where the owner of the farm would sell their herd or whatever. It mightn't be the greatest quality, and the guy coming in would want the top performing herd.
Yeah, and I suppose you'd see it in other departments as well, Bertie. Like, they want the top performing herd, but the least that they're taking on is an existing up and running dairy farm already.
Yeah.
They're not, the infrastructure, I suppose, isn't appealing for someone to take on a farm on a greenfield site, put in the infrastructure. That's not happening really, you know.
Okay, so post-Christmas, Pat, January, February, what way do you see things going?
I personally think that the prices of freshly calved heifers going the end of February, early March is going to be quite high. It's not going to be what it was last year, but I do think that it's going to be between 15 and 17, depending on the paperwork. There is demand going to be there. It will depend slightly on whether and how early guys can get stock out. We have still some new entrants, you know, for different reasons. The shed isn't finished, the parlour isn't finished. You know, this time of year it's very hard to get all those things lined up. There's obviously demand on installers for milking parlours and for sheds being put up. So I think if the weather comes right, there will be demand for those that people can buy them, milk them, put them to grass rather than having to worry about housing and stuff, you know. Okay.
So moving on to the UK, I suppose we've had more interest from UK buyers this year by virtue of the valuation of stock here dropping. You know, the calf heifers are cheaper than what they were. So with sterling and the cost of transport, we've had that better interest. Would that be fair to say?
100%, yeah, 100%. And there's the guys, I suppose, again, who have bought from Ireland previously to see the value in the Irish stock, and they're happy with the genetics, and they're looking for them to suit a particular system that they find hard maybe to get in the UK. But yeah, all those things, I suppose, are the reasons that there is demand in the UK. Again, we've a few more loads there to go now at the start of the year again. So the other thing, maybe the UK, Bertie, as well, I suppose, they with contracts varying over there, somebody might be starting calving in the start of April. So as I say, one man's rubbish is another man's gold. So the late out of block stock here for that are April calvers, they're valuable then to the UK farmer then who's starting at that time, you know. Okay. So there's a good match that can be made there. I know. With good stock as well.
Yeah. Matthew and John are in a good place there to facilitate those trades, I suppose, where there are UK buyers looking for.
Yeah, they are to be fair, and the lads have experienced now over the last couple of years that they're able to maybe show farmers previous clients who have done what I've just said, you know, and give an example of how they've worked out in different farms as well, and it just gives maybe confidence to the buyer, you know, that right, if it worked here, it should work for me, and this is maybe the reason why they went to Ireland to look at the stock, you know.
And as ever, I suppose in the UK, Matthew has always demand for freshly calved stock. We're in December now, but he can sell freshly calved cows at any time of the year over there, and that's still the case today.
There still is like that. I suppose what we see, Bertie, is the demand for the freshly calved stock over in the UK is for your Irish animal that's maybe a 600 kilo cow to do the 6,500 to 8,500 litres, you know. Yes. A good strong square cow, but still have to give the volume. There's demand for those cows constantly in the UK.
And I suppose, Pat, I can't say it for 2024. We'd all be hoping that Limerick won't win another All-Ireland. Cork will have something to show for it. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I think the bookies are paying out in Limerick already, Bertie, anyway, from what I hear. So,
okay.
It should be in the bag, I'd say.
Yeah, fair enough. You probably have enough of them anyway at this stage.
We'll take another one.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Pat.